Press the live button. What do we do? What do we do? So, hello everyone. How's it going? Yes, we're back. Are we back for good? No one can say for sure. We don't know what the future may hold. But for the moment, we're here. So I'm waiting on other panelists to jump in. They said they would jump in this evening. We'll see what happens on that. For all intents and purposes, this is hit or miss the NightStryke ranting edition because there's a ton of things I need to rant on a little bit, and not everyone will agree with me, and I don't mind that you don't agree with me. We all have our own opinions, and that's fine. I mean, again, what do they say about opinions? They're just like assholes. Everyone's got one. So, of course, excuse the crude language. I'm just pointing out the obvious. There it is. Now, Scotch jumped in, and we're not starting just yet, but we're getting back into this, in the saddle here. It's been a while since we've been here, and I want to let everyone know what was going on and why I've been gone for a while. Okay, so earlier this year, around January, I found out that I had family coming to visit. Okay, and they would be here about the second or third week in March. Okay, and what ended up happening is it was the third week of March. What ended up happening is there were we've been in the middle of a ton of renovation projects, and I had to finish said renovation projects, a couple of which still aren't done. I've shown Scott and Sean a bit of what we've been doing, but so to put it in perspective, I had to build a pantry because we don't have one in the house, because the house was made in '67 and they used a bunch of cabinets in the kitchen, but not all the cabinets are great, and they don't store a lot of things, so we had to build a pantry. And we took a little bit of room from the living room away for the pantry, because that's where the area was, because we have a super huge living room. Then I had to go and tile like almost the entire downstairs. I mean, tiled the bathroom, tiled the laundry room, the family room, the kitchen, the kitchenette, and the foyer. And you're going to ask what a foyer is. It's the area or room of which you enter the house through the front door. It's that room directly after the front door. All right. So did that. And then I had to do some concrete work, and you saw me getting the concrete cement mixer, which I've got an update on that. This is gonna be great. Okay. So I had to do I had to redo the front step because it's way too low. They made it into the ground. They put it in the ground, the concrete slab for the front step in the ground. And the problem is it's too low to the ground. And it was collecting water, more or less. So what I did is I got cement mixer, and I've raised the front step up a bit so water's not collecting on it anymore. It just falls off of it. Okay. But here's the kicker. Halfway through using that wonderful, wonderful new device we call a cement mixer, it stopped working. And I found out today why it stopped working. Scott, you want to guess why it stopped working?
You got cement in the gears?
Oh no, it's even better than that. You probably won't guess.
The cheap motor burned itself out.
No. But I'm gonna go ahead and tell you, okay? You know how on a rotating shaft, like on a lawnmower or other type device, you've got a key that you put in to keep the whatever device you have on it in place. You know, it's a little rectangular thing that goes on the shaft.
Mm-hmm.
The key fell off where the pulley that turns the cement wheel. It literally fell out. So I went on Amazon today and I had to order a new a set of Woodruff keys to try and replace that one that had fallen out. Luckily, I was able to find a set to be able to do that. But you know, I've got more cement work I have to do, and it would be nice to be able to use the cement mixer instead of having to do it by hand with a wheelbarrow and a shovel. I don't know if anybody's done cement work before, but doing that by shovel and a wheelbarrow is a pain in the ass on a monumental level, and you literally use every muscle in your upper body, and you're sore the next day. Okay,
Me.
and that's only if you work a desk job most of the time and you don't
Me.
do stuff
He
outside.
shows up.
And well, he's always drunk, so don't worry. Let me finish ranting on this, okay? So that's what I've been doing. I've been doing home renovation, and I've been doing a lot of it myself with the guidance of a contractor, and I'm doing it that way so that I can get around having to pull permits for certain things at the house, because permits are a pain in the ass and a waste of time. They really are. They're money sink. Anyways, so that's what's been going on in NightStrike's life, and you know, after family got here, they saw the new family room, the new living room, the dining room,
Okay.
all the great places.
Mike, wake the fuck up.
What? I'm still here, aren't I?
Yeah.
Okay. So, Sean dealing with his shit. Once I got done with once they saw that, it was great, and they left. And last week I went to the PSA gathering. Okay.
I just had to explain to somebody what a libtard was.
Oh boy. That's fine.
You can hear me, right?
Yes, we can hear you now, but we don't know why you were
Say
yelling at me
something.
before.
I can't fucking hear you.
Okay, well that's your problem,
Jump
not
out.
ours. Okay, so you fix your shit, Sean. All right.
Okay.
Okay, so Sean's gonna go fix his shit.
No, we talked
But-
shit about him.
So, anyways, I went to PSA gathering. I did not see the STG 44 that everyone has been going on and on about there. I talked
Hello.
to Josiah about that. Hello, Sean. Can you hear us now?
Damn it. You're going to make me get on my phone.
And he's the IT guy.
Yeah.
Can't make his own shit work.
I know that's even funnier. It would be really easy if you would just ask. But anyways, so I went to the gathering. I've got a whole bunch of shit I gotta compile and get ready, and I'm gonna do that probably this week. I'm gonna go over some of that. Did I take a lot of video? No, I didn't take a lot of video. I took a lot of pictures though. I got a lot of pictures, so we'll show that. Can you hear us now, Sean?
Yes, I had to use my phone.
Well, you realize that if you're on your computer, you have to go and set up the specific device for voice and audio, right?
No, I just simply clicked your link and unmuted my mic.
Okay. Well, you
Seemed
should
to work
have
for me fine.
checked your settings to make sure you had the proper microphone and speakers
It's
set
okay,
up.
I'm here now. Are you on already?
Yes, we're on already because I'm if I'm gonna let Honda go and cork me.
Wait, so I went and ranted this whole time before.
Yep.
Yeah, we didn't hear a word of it, so you got it out of your system. Congratulations.
Oh, cool. Okay,
So,
good.
so I'm just bringing everyone up to speed of where I've been and what I've been doing. Okay.
Okay.
So that's what's been going on with me. I'm still doing renovation in the house, but I'm going to try and keep a consistent schedule. I don't know if we're bringing hit or miss back. 100% right now. It's maybe
You're
once a
turning
week.
into Rick. You're quitting like he
It
is.
may be once a week, or excuse me, once every 2 weeks. It may not. It depends on what happens, because I get angry at a lot of things these days, and I don't know if it's wise to go on the internet and just blast everybody that
So what you're saying is when Roll Call finishes up Rants and Raves, your new show is going to be called Rants and Raves?
No. What he's saying is he's turning into Rick.
No, because I didn't move to Indiana.
Ooh, guess what I just got?
What'd you get?
Well, if I were to pick on people right now, I would say that if you went out and you bought primers at the cost of $15 per 100, you're part of the problem. Because I'm holding a box of 1,000 primers and I only paid $60 for this, which makes you all idiots.
Oh boy, you're primer shaming people now.
Yes, because let me put this into perspective, okay? Ammo manufacturers are deliberately withholding reloading supplies because the profit margins on loaded ammo is greater. So they will make loaded ammo and withhold the reloading supplies from you. Then, when you start complaining about the cost of reloading supplies, you will simply turn around and say, what the fuck? And the market will say, well, you were able to put up with it for this long, and you were able to buy it at $15 a pack of 100. Why would we lower the price? My dog just went into labor, by the way.
Oh, congrats.
Yeah, she's in labor right now.
Well, no work for you tomorrow.
Yeah, no kidding.
Oh my God, she's really doing it right now. Jesus Christ. You are witnessing the birth of puppies live.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. Come here. Oh my God, she's pushing one out right now.
Okay, Sean, you go take care of that. We'll hope you can come back later.
Okay, there you go. There you go. I got it. We're good.
All right. So, of those that were out there in the YouTube chat, why don't we go through and say hello to those people, and then we can go start this shit. And you'll NightStryke will get off his soap opera. Okay.
You want to see?
So first up, we had Mike McClune out there saying good evening. We had John Brown Productions out there. Bjorn apparently is out there.
Is this considered porn?
No, because it's not live. We can't see it.
It's live. See, puppy right there.
No, we can't. You're
puppy right there.
You're completely muted. You're no camera, no audio, no video.
Damn it.
Yeah. So
nice.
So 500 Magnum is out there. All right. It's a good caliber. Ghost Shadow's out there. Ting Ting's out there. That is the YouTuber known as Princess Kicking Butt, also known as Ting Ting. Love you too, Ting Ting. Who else we got out there? Clinton is out there. What's going on, Clint?
Why does it say I'm muted on the YouTube side, but I can see it? It's right here.
Mute yourself and unmute yourself.
Oh.
On the phone. It's at the bottom.
Good?
I don't know why it's doing that. Let me try.
I don't know. Like, people are saying, oh my God, it's a puppy. And yes, I'm looking right at a puppy right now.
Yeah, well, they can't see the puppy. I'm telling you right now.
You want to see?
I don't think so. No, I don't think so. Not right now.
Okay.
All right. We got Sam of Anarchy out there, a 92 out there. Homeless guy with Wi-Fi. What's up, you crazy gun nuts? Well, there you go. All right. So with that out of the way, that's what's going on. That's everything. We're going to be ranting about certain things that have happened lately in the gun world, as well as as certain things. Great. Certain things that are happening, in our government. And I'm really, really pissed off right now because of said things. Roll call 219's out there too. So roll call, you have a link. If you can jump in, you are more than welcome to. But
Congratulations, you newlywed bastard.
yes, congratulations. Congratulations on being married more than once.
Stuff says I'm muted on the YouTube side.
Yeah, it says that to Scott too, but we can still hear Scott, so don't worry about it. It may just be a bug. Don't worry about it. I'll fix it later.
Okay.
All right. So I want to talk. So those of you that support
He can
transgender
hear me.
stuff,
We're good.
those of you that support transgender people, that's great. Okay. And this isn't really directed at you. It's directed at the whole idea of transgenderism in general. So
Yes, and I commend your charity for supporting retards.
yeah, be aware that some of the views and opinions of NightStryke are not necessarily the views and opinions of the panelists or even some of our viewers out there on the YouTube chat. So be aware of that. But NightStrike's going to go down a rabbit hole. He's going to go on a rant, and
I suspect we're all in agreement with you.
it may offend some people. And if you are offended, I'm going to say this because I'm going to be as nice as possible on this. If you're offended, I'm sorry, but guess what?
Grow a set.
You know what did Bob always say?
Go fuck yourself.
No. Canadian Bob. Suck it up, Buttercup. I believe that's how he said it.
I think you're right.
You know, and anyways, going on this, whether you support transgenderism or you don't, here is the problem. Scott, we went and looked at the last couple mass incidents, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what did the last couple mass incidents that have occurred in this nation? What was the trend between all of them?
They were all liberals.
They're all liberals. They're probably all registered Democrats too, but that's besides the point. We can't blame them for their political affiliation, even though Democrats are more prone to commit mass fits of murder than Republicans, but that's besides the point. We can't automatically say that. It's even though that trend is true, considering one of Bernie's supporters tried to shoot up a whole baseball field full of Republicans, but it's not the Democrats' fault. No, it's not the Democrats' fault. / sarcasm. But what else did we find out aside from them all being liberals?
They were all non-binary or trannies.
Yes, they're all non-binary or transgender people. Okay, and NightStrike, why are you being so nice about this? Because I'm not trying to be an ass, but I'm still going to be an ass. Okay, I'm trying to be a nice ass, which is very hard to be a nice ass. But again, you know, I'm not trying to curse as much right now. But boy, I want to go off.
What happened to you're going to go on a rant?
I am going on a rant. I'm not done yet. Okay, so what was it? The last 4 or 5 situations, including this one, they've all been transgender people. Well, everyone, you know that what's that guy, that comedian that does that change my mind meme?
Crowder.
Yes, Crowder. You know how he did this thing, change my mind. Well, I latched onto a meme today, and I said, transgender people are mentally disabled. Changed my mind. And unfortunately, it seems to be true because of the last 4 or 5 mass incidents, they've been transgender or non-binary, and 2, they've all gone. They may have gotten their guns legally, they may have kept some guns illegally, and they all seem to have mental instabilities. Figure that one out. You don't say. A person that thinks they're the opposite gender, even though they're not physically, goes off and commits mass murder, and they're mentally deficient. Who knew?
We did. All of us did.
Who knew?
The rest of us, the normal people, we all knew.
Okay, and then in certain areas of the country, schools and states and cities want to push this same transgender crap on children who shouldn't have to make a choice or deal with this shit until they're 18 anyway. They're an adult and they can think for themselves. Because most likely the only people that should push children into being transgender in general should be the parents. And if the parents don't want that, then the child should just understand and make that choice when they're 18, when they're legally allowed to make choices for their damn selves.
Go
Okay?
on. Keep going.
Okay. And now we have the situation where just the other day, yesterday, and the day before, they were on hearings for pistol braces and trying to get the pistol brace ban removed and done and over with because it makes 40 million Americans criminals. Well, I guess now because some leftist idiot who's a transgender, who is already mentally deficient, who probably shouldn't have had guns in the first place, went and used one gun with a pistol brace on it to do something awful. And I'm wondering, if you want schools to be safe, why aren't we protecting said schools with said firearms, with said police officers? Because those are really the only people that parents or even politicians want around children with guns ever. We can't have that. We have to have gun-free areas that have giant targets on them that say, hey, we can't defend ourselves. Let's come over here and shoot us. That's literally what what they're fucking saying.
Can we talk about the obvious first?
Go on.
Okay.
Otherwise, I might keep going.
Okay. Let's talk about the obvious first. The person who was involved in this yesterday was a filthy poor.
Speak up.
The person who was involved in this yesterday was a filthy poor. Okay? Because if you look at all the video and all the pictures, the primary weapon that this idiot used was a Kel-Tec Sub 2000. But they were too stupid to carry a pistol that used the same magazines. They had one magazine for their AR pistol. One. Because they're filthy poors. That's the first problem I have. The second problem I have is what's attached to the rifle that was shouldered most of the time. The timing of this is incredibly suspect. The day before a ruling was challenged. Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
None of this makes any sense. The only part that makes sense is foxes go to hen houses. Foxes do not enter the den of wolves. If this idiot walked up to a school, one of 400 schools in the state of Texas, and saw the signs, teachers are armed and are proficient in the use of firearms to protect the students of this facility, that moron would have turned around and walked away. They'd have been like, fuck this, I'm going to Starbucks.
Yeah.
Well, the funny thing is, apparently this was a secondary target.
Yes,
the primary.
The problem is never the tool. The problem is always mental derangement and the accessibility to soft targets. And when you advertise something as a gun-free zone, or if you have a history of no security in your building, you are inviting wolves to the hen house. You are a co-conspirator to the stupidity of what lets this shit happen.
Yeah. And
we're having puppies.
Yeah, I heard you're having puppies.
Sorry, I'm just all over the place because of it.
But do you have enough blankets?
Yeah. No, I'm all prepared for the puppy part. We're good there. I've already clipped a cord. And how's that for keeping calm and carrying on?
Yeah, no shit.
Yeah.
Ooh, I shouldn't have said that. Sorry about that.
No, it's fine.
Anyways,
we're way beyond PG-13. The subject tonight is not PG-13.
No, sadly it's not. But is this, and that's just it. They were supposed to have a hearing. They were supposed to have a vote today on the pistol brace thing to make it so that 40 million Americans, possibly more, we don't know, weren't made criminals because the ATF decided, oh, we're gonna make a law because we're part of the government and the government can make laws, right? No, Congress makes the fucking law. The House of Representatives, the Senate make the fucking law. The president only gets to sign it into law. He doesn't get a dick's worth a say on whether the law is good or bad. Nobody cares what the president, what his opinion is on said law. His job is to sign it or say no and not sign it. And if it's got a 2/3 majority, it doesn't matter what the fuck he thinks.
He gets executive privilege in the form of executive orders.
And that's just it. Executive orders should not be able to override or replace Congress as laws, period.
Well, no, but Congress has the right to overturn executive orders should they find them unjust. Unfortunately, he has a Congress that's complacent in them.
You know what's worse? You know what's worse? Okay.
I'm all ears.
Okay. What's worse is I had to watch a video today of Senator Kennedy grilling Secretary Mayorkas.
No,
the Secretary of Defense, not Defense,
the useless secretary,
Homeland Security.
The man with a Hispanic first name and a Greek last name. How the fuck does that work?
Yeah, I don't know how the fuck that works either. But
right.
But I had to listen to him go on, Mayorkas go on about him agreeing with Biden's assault weapon ban, and he couldn't describe what an assault weapon was. He only said, "Oh, it's an AK-47."
No liberal can.
No
liberal can define what an assault weapon is because
and on top of that, he says he says he supports this country and whatnot. But then guess what? I saw a video, and you know what that video was?
Go on.
That video was Mayorkas getting sworn in, and you know what he did by testifying to Senator Kennedy? He broke the oath of office. Because the oath of the office that he was sworn in, a few years ago, was, I will uphold and defend the Constitution of the United States of America.
But you see, the problem with that is
the problem is nobody's ever held accountable for their oath of office in this fucking government. That's the problem.
The entire ATF is guilty of the very same thing. They swore to protect and uphold the Constitution of the United States, which includes the Bill of Rights, which includes the first 10 amendments, which had to be agreed upon for the ratification of the United States Constitution, which means if they didn't agree upon that, we would have no country. And yet here they are openly defying it daily.
Exactly.
We talk about reinterpretations of everything. Why are we reinterpreting something that says shall not be infringed? Why aren't we reinterpreting something like the Eighth Amendment?
I was expecting Senator Kennedy to go and say, "Can you read the Second Amendment?"
No. You see, that's the
problem.
problem.
Could you tell people what the Second Amendment says? Because apparently, I'm the only fucking person in this goddamn country that understands the definition of the Second Amendment.
John Kennedy does not do that. John Kennedy has a reputation of making obvious points using folksy wisdom. Okay, that's his shtick.
I know.
He knows what you are saying. He will not say it that way because that is not his shtick. Okay, somebody like a Jim Jordan will. Somebody like possibly a Ron DeSantis might. But John Kennedy will never, because he likes to play Andy Taylor from Mayberry. Now, it's funny, and it's humorous, and it's easy to digest. But what we're talking about ain't a fucking joke. We don't have time for his folksy wisdom. We need action. We need absolute authority. We need upholding of the law. The 99% of the problems in this country are due to the fact that we have politicized the judicial branch of this country.
You know what?
If
You know
we
what would
uphold
really
the
help?
law and apply it as
know,
written, we
You
wouldn't
know what
have
would
this
really
problem.
help? If we would go and actually hold people accountable for their oath of office, like they used to in the 19th century.
What do we do to people who don't do their job in this country?
We fire them.
Why
Unless
haven't
they
we done
work for
that?
the federal government.
Why have we not done that? Oh boy, we're about to have a second puppy.
Oh, good. Why have we
Very
not done that? I don't know.
Okay,
And
this puppy still has a
unfortunately, there
cord.
is something called an AR-47. It's just an AR-15 that can run AK mags, or just it runs
AK caliber.
7.62 by 39, depending on the type.
I gotta
So it
cut
is an
this
actual
cord.
thing, unfortunately.
Oh God. Okay, I hate doing this.
And for those that didn't hear it, here it is,
Connery's
folks.
having puppies and he's about to cut a cord.
Yes. Here it is, folks. I am really wound up about this. And I want everyone to know that
Done.
what let me get the proper words. I don't want to be misquoted on this.
Hang on, we're gonna do a gender reveal.
No, we're not.
First puppy's a female.
Okay. Okay.
Code Almond Joy.
Okay. Here it is from NightStryke. I'm not just going to yell my normal catchphrase. I'm going to say the whole goddamn thing, because apparently I'm the only one who understands the definitions.
Please do so, sir.
Okay. For those out in the world, this is the Second Amendment. A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed.
Hi, G.
Good evening.
We're having puppies.
We're having puppies, and I'm yelling on air. So this is the rant tonight.
This is great.
Only because you've been drinking.
No, because I'm having puppies.
And then there's this rogue pug in the background.
Kind
Don't
of a
know who
ghost
that is.
puppy.
I love that dog. I love that dog.
I like pugs too. So, all right. So there's that, and I'm very angry that that the American people were robbed of that vote.
I love that dog. Sorry, I see it on the YouTube side. I'm like, oh.
Anyways, I'm about out of steam, Sean.
Really?
Yeah, I'm tagging out.
Okay. All right. So, let's talk about solutions, shall we?
All right.
Well, we have a mentally deranged individual who doesn't even know what bathroom to use. We have a person who wrote a manifesto who specifically chose this building as a secondary target because they were fully aware that this place had no security. It's a private school. It had no security detail. Okay.
I say
Here in the
start
state of
before
Texas.
that, and they even took this action for a reason. They didn't grab a thing of gasoline. They didn't write a poetry. You know what I mean? They chose this action because they knew there's a thing. Their manifesto even says they knew they wanted to be infamous in this way.
Yes, and what I don't seem to understand these days is why these people continue to think that they're going to be made famous, when some media outlets will say the names, but a lot of them have adopted this concept of we are not going to sensationalize this act. My biggest concern with this is the reaction from the White House immediately was, let's not talk about the victims. Let's not go on site and try to comfort people and send in anybody to try to help people deal with this. No, let's talk about an assault weapons ban. It's like, let's continue to blame the tool and not the individual. And I find that almost to the point of projectile vomit these days. It's vulgar to even suggest that, because once upon a time we could say, look, this is not going to work. Let's take the UK example, for instance. They banned guns, right? For the proletariat, the average person. They couldn't carry guns. You could have shotguns with extenuating circumstances For hunting, you had to lock your stuff away. It had to be inspected. You know, the whole 9 yards. We've been talking about this for years. What happened? Hatchets, hammers, knives, rented vans became the thing. No offense, G. Rented vehicles became a thing. People ran people over at the Tower Bridge in London. Okay? It is never the tool. It has never been the tool. Cain didn't kill Abel with an assault weapon. He killed him with a black rock. Okay? It's always the individual that's the problem. And the only way you're going to solve this problem is to eliminate soft targets. Plain and simple. I have written my governor for the past 6 years. 6 years. Okay? Ever since Santa Fe, ever since Parkland, I've been writing these people repeatedly. And I've proposed an idea called the Good Shepherd Act. And I'm saying it now in public, in the YouTube sphere. Somebody's going to hear this. Some asshole is going to take credit for it. The students in schools are the sheep. The teachers are the shepherds of the flock. And you don't protect the sheep with feelings. You protect the sheep with a crook, or in this case, a firearm. And the simple fact of the matter is you will stop this madness and insanity by creating no soft targets. You arm the teachers. You teach them with retired police, active police, retired military, drill instructors, firearms instructors, NRA instructors.
You
I
don't
don't
need
give a
all.
shit.
There's already systems in place. There's thing called
Correct. But
Faster
every city
States
may not
Lives,
have
which is
access
in
to these
multiple
things.
state. Oh yeah, it's out there. They're definitely available. They're trying
Okay.
to make it available because they're money that went out from the Republican gun control that gets distributed to the states for gun safety, quote unquote, can't
Sure.
be used for things like gun education safety. It can only be used
Right.
for safety from guns. So the Faster Saves Lives, which is the largest of the safety with guns, the kind of safety that a lot of us older people grew up with, like here's, stay away from it, like Eddie Eagle and before, like here's a gun,
Yes.
it's dangerous, stay away from it. Here's a stove, stay away from it. Here's a drill, stay away from it. Here's a saw, stay away from it, right? Like, basic safety for a little kid. They've taken that away. And now they're saying, the only way to have safety is to brainwash the kids and say that, if you've got a gun, you've got a mental health issue and, so it's legal for you. You have this right. And there's a bunch of crazies, they'll marginalize it. But anyway, I'm getting off topic. There's systems in place. So you don't even have to say theoretically, you can just say initiate the Faster Saves Lives, which is a decent one. And then there's
Yes.
another one called Alice, which is more of Eddie Eagle type of, you just kind of download. It's like a stop the bleed. It's like a download and anybody can just apply it. Alice is an acronym for alert, hide, run stuff. And then each letter is a thing. And it's sort of what you'd expect a teacher to do, like run and alert everybody, barrier the room, try to defend yourself and then get the hell out of there if possible. Like that kind of, sort of
Okay.
like, an acronym. But anyway, those things exist. So the reason that they're trying to suggest that they aren't or that you're not hearing about them is because it's already been researched that the media spends more time and attention, more money, more media. What the media is time, right? Like attention on things and the time that they focus on stuff. They spend more of that by their choice on spree shooters or spree killers with a gun, right? Than they do the Super Bowl, than they do presidential elections, or than they do any wars. So they spend more time on spree killers focused on this and then act like they have nothing to do with any reason why any of these people do it. Although their manifestos all say, I'm going to outdo the other person. I'm going to find all the things that you guys are raging about because they happen every time. And then if they really wanted to solve things at this point, they would have solved the reasons these people, like the mental health issues, right? The reasons people are having trouble. But instead, they use these as events to exploit, to go after individuals. And they have been able to use these rifts, but they're losing those battles. There's a lot of people who are aware of this, have seen it happen. And now what they're doing is they're doing this in front of people who've seen it happen a few times now after these atrocities, right? These things that happen because of individuals. And again, they're not grabbing gasoline and they're not grabbing, I don't want to get into it, but all the other things that could be used to cause an atrocity, they're using a specific one for a reason, and that's I'll shut up again. But I'm getting off in a rant. But the stuff for schools and teachers and stuff is established. It's already out there and it's successful. And
Fair
the thing
enough.
is, it's trauma training. It's really, hey, gun is a part of it, awesome. But really, it's just, hey, what to do if your kids start choking? What to do if your kids are having trouble with a peanut allergy? What to do, right? How to have a procedure in place that all the teachers know the best way. You know, if the school is situated this way, here's how you tell the next teacher, and then that teacher runs and tells the principal, and then that principal calls the parent and the hospital, right? Like, so there's just a procedure, and then in that procedure is, and now if there's a spree killer, this is the procedure, you know, added on. And then ideally, I'm going to throw it out there just because I've been ranting. My option for all of this is just remove the gun-free zones. These all started with gun-free zones.
Exactly.
Remove those signs. There's an unknown. The spree killer doesn't have a killing zone. They don't have a victim zone, and that's the real culprit. 1990 Gun-Free Zone Act.
Okay, I'm going to take this a step further because I wrote my governor and I got a response from my governor. And my governor has presidential aspirations, and I live in one of the largest states in the country. He is vocal when he knows a sure thing when he sees one. And the fact of the matter is this: we have nearly 400 schools in the state of Texas that have armed teachers with signage that says teachers are proficient in firearms training before you even enter the building. There have been 0 school shootings in any of those schools. 0. None. Statistical fucking fact. Okay? This is how you stop it. You end soft targets. You put out a deterrent. It's like when I used to joke about border control by laying out a minefield. You don't have to put the mines everywhere. You put one mine out and 100 warning signs, and only the truly insane would go right past the sign like, that's not going to affect me. No, these people look for soft targets. And if they see a sign that says there are armed people in there, they're not going to take the risk because they will walk into a building during class change and there are teachers and administrators and students walking around, and they're not going to know who's carrying because they don't know who the department heads are. They don't know who the people are carrying are. They're all concealed. Anyone that would walk into that situation, you will never save them. They are insane. They will walk past every barrier and still go in there and still do the act. They are unsavable people. But you will stop 999 out of 1,000. When they walk up and see that sign, they're going to go, you know what? This is not worth my life today. And they're going to get in their car and they're going to think about what they were just about to do. And they're going to jerk off in the car to blow their load and release that tension and go, I almost ended my life today over something really stupid. They're going to go home and they're going to rethink their priorities. That's what most of the would-be's will do.
Hey, Conry, are you doing something to your microphone? Because it kind of goes lower and then comes back.
I've got 2 earbuds in, and I'm not sure if it's messing with it.
Oh, okay. So maybe you're standing. It almost sounded like you were just reaching away from your mic or something.
Sorry. My governor wrote me back, hand signed. I could see the indentation in the paper. And he asked me very specifically, how do I propose to make the Good Shepherd Act a reality? And I simply told him this: the first question that people ask will be, what is the cost? And I will tell them flat out, there is almost no cost, because volunteers will line up to teach people how to protect their children. There is no cost for that. The only cost you may have is what I thought of as a fire alarm, right? You have a fire alarm in the building, you break a little thing and it goes off, right? There's another one that you can add that simply electromagnetically locks all the doors. Click, boom, they're all locked. And the only person who can break that lock is administrators who have an all clear. That is cheap to do because all the doors are already steel. All the schools are already networked. This isn't about outdated systems anymore. All schools are built like this. They're built like fucking prisons. They have steel doors with steel barriers. All you have to do is add a couple of wires and a switch and a magnet. Boom, done. They can't get in. The doors in my high school that I graduated from 26 years ago, it had doors or windows that were only 2 inches wide. They were 1.5 feet tall, but they were 2 inches wide. Yeah, okay, you can get a gun barrel through there. But, you know, the lockdown procedure is simple. Someone hits the button, all the doors lock, there's a siren. All the students go to the furthest point away from the door. The armed teacher stands near the door and scans the window and fills anybody walking by it the fuck in. Then they can do an all clear. Then it's over. Crisis averted. This is not hard to do. This doesn't cost anything. Maybe a little bit of mental trauma, maybe a little bit of adrenaline. But you have eliminated soft targets because what I've just described to you won't happen almost every time when someone walks by the sign and go, that's not worth my life today. That's not a soft target. You know it, I know it, and everyone watching is knowing this. Soft targets are the problem. It's not the gun. It has never been the gun. Because what do you call when a gun is involved in a crime? Somebody to show up with a gun. Which means it is the problem and the solution. Which means it's neither. Now I'm running out of gas because I have written this for years. I have advocated for this for years. And now me personally am running for local office on this message. I have been pushed by the Constitutional Convention of the States of Texas to seek public office based on this. There's my announcement. Great. Cat's out of the bag. I'm having puppies. Anybody want some Yorkies?
No.
Okay. I thought I'd ask.
I don't go for compacts. I only go for full size.
I got nothing on that. All I'm saying is I find this highly suspect. And you have heard me talk about this before, and I always say it in jest and jokingly about the conspiracy theory of sleeper cells. But don't you find this a little odd that the day before that they were about to strike down this pistol brace thing with the GOP, this person uses said item? Now, this wasn't their primary item. I'm not gonna glorify this.
I think that somebody who's freaked out and has got this, they planned it for a while. I mean, I guess you could say like who's tickling the thing to sneeze at that moment. But if they've been planning it for a while and they're like rational enough to know that like this is something that's going to be heinous and they want to do that heinous thing at the, you know, the most heinous time.
Honestly,
maybe
I'm not convinced that somebody on the left didn't whisper into the right person's ear, you should go do this. And someone went off, half cocked and did it. I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced it's purely coincidental. I'm not convinced of that. It could have been planned. I don't know.
Mike, we talked about this morning, right? And the problem with all of this
is there early watch again?
No,
not
currently. We've talked about this in the morning, just in my lobby every day. And
on Discord.
The fact of the matter is most of our problems are based on the politicization of the judicial system and the fact that it's not being applied and it's not being upheld. And that's what's abhorrent to what's going on today. Because what is the point of having laws if nobody's going to carry them out or apply them? And why do we continue to punish the law-abiding and make them more vulnerable by throwing hurdles in their way instead of doubling the penalties for the pricks who are breaking the law? Because I've been saying this forever. You can pass 1 million new gun control laws tomorrow. I invite you, Washington, you dipshits, pass 1 million new gun control laws tomorrow, because it's just going to be 1 million more laws that the criminal will break. And it's going to be 1 million more hurdles that are going to leave the rest of us who voted your dumbass into office more vulnerable. You are not, your job is not to save us, okay? Your job is to protect the country from other countries. Your job is not to protect the individual from other individuals within the borders of this country. That is not your function.
That's the essence. In a lot of ways, that's the essence of this whole thing.
Correct. Yeah. Government's job originally was to handle the tasks of the business of the country so the rest of us can go on about our daily lives and not have to worry about it. We don't have time to worry about our relations with Mexico because we have soccer practice and karate and band practice and picking up our kids every day. We don't have time for
And
worrying
taking
about
our dogs
what
to the
Russia's
park.
doing to Ukraine.
Or 3D printing fixtures that you can bend sheet metal receivers out of.
Yeah,
Oh, exactly.
Are we allowed to describe that?
we can describe that.
Yes.
We can't show it on camera though.
You have the constitutional right to describe that, sir. It's just, we have allowed government to overreach to the point of projectile vomit because now they feel entitled to do this to us before we even say, no, you can't do that. They preempt their overreach. And what are we going to do to stop them? Nothing, because they will just simply disarm us and say, what are you going to do about it? You're already a felon. What gave you that right? I mean, what gave you the right to tell me that something that has been legal for 15 years is all of a sudden illegal? That I had bought in good faith, that I use and practice every day. How about the fact that you're disenfranchising people with actual disabilities? This thing is a prosthesis to make them more proficient and efficient to defend themselves. Whatever happened to the idea that you have the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness? And what they don't say is you also have the right to defend those things.
Well, according to the Democrats, that right's been revoked.
I don't care what Democrats think because they react on emotion and they have no sense of logic. Our system was written in such a way that it was if this, then this. Not if you feel this way because of this, then this. It is never that way. It was defined in logic and order and structure and most importantly, justice and application of the law. Law is like religion. It only works if everyone plays along and believes in it. And if you don't, you have anarchy, you have chaos, you have this.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have a country if you can't uphold the rules that created it. The words shall not be infringed are very obvious and simple. Every hurdle in front of you and me and everyone else who pays their taxes, that is a direct infringement. Why did we allow them to do this to us? They don't have the right to do this to us. This amendment was the very check and balance, the final and ultimate check and balance for us to tell a tyrannical government, you don't get to do this. We put you in power because we trusted you, and you have broken the national trust. Now get the hell out of my office. That is what that was for, and they have been neutering it for 90 fucking years. 89 years. By the time this reaches anybody with any political power, it will be 90 years. And then somebody like me will go up to Washington and say, you have had 90 years of direct infringements on the law abiding, and you have accomplished nothing. Give me 10 years to do it the exact opposite, to prove that you are all idiots. And if I can prove to you in 10 years that no NFA, no GCA, and no fucking Hughes Amendment should have existed, and it brought crime down because now Americans are empowered to their own defense, it becomes national policy forever. They won't take that risk. They've had 90 years. I'm asking for 10. That's 9 to 1. And if I could prove to them in 10 years that they've been wrong for 90, that would scare them to death. They won't take that risk because they already know they've lost. How's that for a rant?
That's great. That is great.
I'm running out.
So your microphone is going in and out again. Just
sorry.
It's all right.
I'm running out of gas.
So am I. So, Scott, you've been eerily quiet. Do you want to give us your view on the whole situation?
Well, I think between the two of you, you kind of got it covered.
Well, indulge us, please. Anything we missed?
I sucked all the air out of the room, Mike. There's nothing left.
no, we might just
Yeah,
need.
I can't really get anything past short Rant.
I love that dog, G. I really do. All pugs should be named Frank. Sorry, I had to.
Yes. So
I'm done.
He does kind of look like him compared to a lot of the other movies, where a lot of the movies, the pugs are like a little round football. They're all fat. Pudgy,
Yes.
right?
I love that dog.
He's skipped in
So
or
glad you got him.
got like that kind of coloring to his face, but I don't like that one as much.
Mike, address the chat. Everyone's typing like crazy.
I know. I see what's going on. It's like
Nobody in the chat said I'm insane. That's
who is
encouraging.
speaking? I want to shout an amen at NightStryke. Who is speaking? That is Sean Ponery. So that's who that is. Cinder Mountain says, "Why would anyone be surprised that a government would want to stay in power?" No one's surprised at that. No one. Coop is saying the second checked federal power. Most of these fights about arms should be fought on the grounds of state constitutions. Well, that's a very good point. Save for a couple states, almost every state constitution has its own version of the Second Amendment blatantly plastered at the beginning or the middle or towards the end of that document. But only a few states decided, you know what? The Second Amendment, we don't need to add to our Constitution because it's already implied. It's already nobody's going to bother with it. And now we look at California. Good job, guys. Good job. Good job there, not adding it to your Constitution. Great job.
I got a question. Didn't the 10th Amendment of the United States Constitution basically state that anything that wasn't listed there within can be left to the states to determine? Something of that nature, right? Why does any state have to imply the thing that's already there that was supposed to be covered for the entire nation?
Well,
it shouldn't be there.
Miller, I think, in 38.
The 10th Amendment states the powers not delegated to the United States by the Constitution nor prohibited by it to the states are reserved to the states respectively or to the people, you and I.
Yes.
And I think it was Miller 38 where the Supreme Court said that the Second Amendment applies to the federal government and not to the states, because the state was trying to do something to a racist. So it's a fucked up decision, and both sides claim it and also hate it, so it gets kind of left there. But I believe that's the linchpin or the keystone that makes it where the Second Amendment, where the states can do what they want, and the Second Amendment applies to the government, which is kind of good, I think. I'd rather see 50 experiments than tyranny from the federal government, right? So the federal government has a Second Amendment that says you can't touch our right, period. And then the states have some layer of I don't know what to call that, if it's flexibility, or they have, their own sovereignty to some extent. Like they live in the United States, but they're also their own. So I'm okay with that, because that's how we change and evolve and we test. But when it's wrong and when something's, and in this case, the wrongness was there for a long time, and I'm going to call in this particular situation, there's lots of different situations, but these are engineered situations. Problems came from them. I'm not going to say that these people are so smart and they saw everything coming, because that would suggest that they saw the internet coming and then knew what the internet was going to do. And then somehow we're like, they're just playing the game. They're just good at surfing, and they're just, used to coming along, and they've got a lot of resources. So, as the situation was, put up gun-free zones because we think it's a great idea. Nobody's going to fight us on it in the 90s. In 1990, that happens. And then you get kill zones, you get victim zones, whatever you want to call it, right? You're trying to be nice to people's feelings or whatever. But essentially, you've created target zones, right? And then ever since then, you've had horrible things happen, and you've spent more time and effort, not infamizing, is that whatever the word is, to make one infamous, right? Of these events, these horrible events. And instead of looking at what caused the person to do it, or what circumstances created a person like that, they use the situation to demonize the firearm. And for decades that worked because guns were something that people had in their closet, and grandpa gave that to me, and I have that. If I ever need it, I'm going to rack it, with the 80s and 90s. And then you get to the internet and you get to people actually enjoying firearms recreationally, it's just a thing of interest. They carry it around because they want some security. They want to defend themselves, their family. You have like Y2K, you have all these other things we all know about, and you've got awareness. So now none of these bullshit like old strategies are working anymore. So this is, they're losing and they know it. And this is more and more obvious, especially all these new gun owners. We've seen this stuff since forever. We've seen this whole thing play out, but all these new gun owners are now experiencing this, and they're not idiots. They're not going to be pandered to, and they're about to start telling all their friends, like, don't believe this shit you're watching on TV. This is ridiculous. And I think you can see that from my understanding of the coverage of this. I don't watch anywhere near as much news as y'all, but from my understanding of the coverage, they weren't even hardly thinking of this as a gun thing. And a lot of the people were saying that it was almost disgusting how they were not paying attention to the children or the victims, but circumstances and how it was, they were playing other angles of it in a tough way. So that's again just they made the gun-free zones. They let the media create these things, and then they play off of this rift. So I guess what I'm saying is I think this game is about over because what they've depended on, the fulcrum for the stupid ass game, is people's unawareness and unfamiliarity with guns, and that's being eroded away. Familiar with this stuff. So that's my
Okay.
I would like to say I did see the best thing today was Legally Armed America called the Uvalde Police Department and asked them if they'd like the video of it so that they know how to do a proper raid.
Oh,
That's
Paul.
that's just trolling. Come on, let's be honest.
He filmed it while
Look,
he called them.
No,
I have an observation. Okay,
that's Paul. Okay, just that.
Yeah.
That's how he is.
many
He has a
people in the
point.
mornings hear me
He does.
say this country is overdue for revolution, and I know that sounds terrible, but if you look at the way that the geopolitical climate is right now, we are overdue. We truly are. We were the gold standard for democracy for over 100 years. Nations have come and gone for over 100 years. And the one thing that has been sort of the same is they all adopted a copy of the United States Constitution in part. And one thing that they kept leaving out, which led to their demise, is the Second Amendment. Every modern nation who developed a constitution for their country was a copy of us, except they picked and chose parts that they didn't want in there because that gave them some sort of overbearance over the people. You can't have what we have unless you give them all of what we have. And unfortunately, all of what we have has been tainted and ruined by leftist ideology and idiots who keep perversing the Bill of Rights. See, the thing is the Bill of Rights, the 10 First Amendments, the very thing that was required to ratify the Constitution in 1791, this nation wouldn't exist without it, which means 13 city, states, and colonies had to agree to a universal set of rules, okay? It was the 10 Commandments. It was in stone. Everything beyond the first 10, okay, you can negotiate. And everything that wasn't in the first 10 and wasn't followed by afterwards with ratification as amendments, let the states decide. We're okay with that. That mechanic is fine. But the first 10, unquestionable, unwavering. They are ironclad. They are not to be reinterpreted.
That's why they're
They are
called the
not to
Bill of
be
Rights.
messed with. They are not to be fucked with because the country wouldn't exist without it. And yet we keep allowing them to fuck
To
with
mess
it.
with it.
And that is on us because we have put people in power that have done this to us. And we have not got off our couch. I'm not saying you individually, collectively, we have not got off our couch We have not rolled up that newspaper and soaked it in cold water, and we have not smacked them across their little wrinkled pug nose, not cheese pug, and say, no. Okay? We have not done that to them. And that is what needs to happen. We need to do that to them. That is every time you go to the ballot, that is what you're doing. Every time you try to talk to somebody about this, that is what you're doing. The problem in this country is we were raised for generations with passing the buck, saying, you don't talk about religion and you don't talk about politics in the workplace. No, you do. Because if you talk about it every day, then the problems are small. If you keep shutting up about it, they get bigger and worse. And they become, instead of a small problem, they become a golem and you can't take it out anymore. But if you talk about it every day, you can deal with it in small pieces. We have had 3, 4, maybe 5 generations continually pass the buck. They passed the NFA. They passed the GCA. They passed the Hughes Amendment. They passed this bullshit assault weapons ban because they kept passing the buck. Oh, we'll just ban it for now and someone else can deal with it later. It's not going to go away. Deal with it when it happens and solve the problem when it's small. Do not let it turn into this monster you can't defeat. And right now, we have political parties we've turned into gigantic monsters. And guess what? We can't defeat them either. Because now they rig elections, or they cheat, or they change the rules, or they allow alphabet groups that aren't even legislative branches of government to dictate policy. Why did we allow that? Why do we continually allow these things? How much more are we willing to take? How supple is the voter's asshole to this pounding before they say, enough? I'm not built to take this anymore. We weren't founded to do this.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And with that, I think I'm going to stick a fork in it.
Seriously? I mean, it's like everyone's here.
Well, I'm out of steam. You're out of. You're about on empty. Scott.
I had 2 Whataburgers and 2 IPAs. I'm just ready to go.
Yeah. Scott doesn't have anything for us, even though he said he had stuff tonight. It's like, what the hell?
I snuffed him out.
Oh.
I took out his oil rig fire.
Yeah, Sean kind of killed my fucking argument.
My apologies. I'm
Thanks,
a bad
Sean.
panelist.
Well, only when you're drunk.
I'm not. I could pass the sobriety test, sir.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
We're having puppies.
Yeah. Can you pass it with puppies?
Yes. I'm delivering puppies and cutting cords as we speak. This entire time we've been doing this. This entire rant, I've been clipping umbilical cords.
Oh boy.
I got puppies. It should be a happy day.
Anyways, and then we have the ever knowing gun website's pug right there. Is his name Frank?
No.
It should be Frank. Honestly.
Bit.
Bip?
His name is Bit.
Bip.
Yep. Bacon
That's
Bit.
awesome.
Bacon Bit. Okay. All right. Bit. All right. Tail's wagging. The tail is
Bit.
wagging. That means he's happy. Apparently, G, I think he likes you.
Yeah, he's right here.
There he is. He's awake. He's ready. He's ready for action. All right. And with that, G, you got anything going on you want people to know about, be aware of?
Well, my show's at midnight, but I think Barbecue has a show, doesn't he?
Does
In a minute.
I don't know if he's doing it in a minute or what. I don't know if he's still doing it.
It's not that good of a show. It's sort of like if you caught a fish and you left it out in the sun for a little while, maybe a couple of days, and then you went back to it and you were like, well, I guess I could still eat it. It's like that.
Oh.
I heard it was like an Indian knockoff of the Daily Gun Show.
Yeah, like it breaks all the time, and it's not. It says it's a large, but it's more like a medium,
Right?
Small. Yeah.
It maybe more on the small side. Yeah.
It smells like something. I don't know if it's paprika or something.
I think it smells more like ketchup.
I'm just crazy about saffron. Sorry.
So all right. Scott, anything we need to know about? Any final words of wisdom?
Carry a gun.
He got his
Okay.
AK back.
Oh, he did.
I did.
We'll talk about that off air then. Sean, any words of wisdom? Anything you want the people to know about?
I host a pokey little show called The War Room. It comes on at Fridays at 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. Most of the time we do it every Friday, but sometimes if the stories are a little bit slow, we do it every other Friday. I use the same name that you see here in the channel for my YouTube channel. If you're not a subscriber, you can find my link to my Discord server there, which we host as a lobby every day. And for words of wisdom, always wash your hands before eating chicken nuggets. My best friend, who is a plumber, used to tell me that.
Yes, you should. And I don't know if we'll be back here next week. We may be doing this in every other week, but we may decide to do this every week. It depends on how I feel, honestly.
Let's make an agreement. You can do this every week. I don't do the War Room.
So you're not doing the War Room this
so
week?
It'd be alternating.
Well, I'll think about it. Anyways, but you got your hit or miss this evening. So you got the NightStryke ranting, G-Web's ranting a little bit, and even Sean ranting. So,
Which most people are like, who the hell's this guy?
And then we've got the pug. We've got the pug here. So we've
got puppies.
And apparently Sean has puppies. So there we go. So with that, we will see you guys later. Thank you all for listening. This was Hit or Miss, the NightStryke ranting edition. So with that, shall not be infringed.
Slava Ukrainian.
All right, I'm Slava.